Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. So today we're going to be talking about the England-Denmark game and listening to some of the interviews after the game from Kyle Walker, Harry Kane and Gareth Southgate. As you may know, it ended in a 1-1 draw. It was the second group game for England in Euro 2024 and it was typical England. We went 1-0 up after I think it was about 18 minutes. Kyle Walker was running down the right hand side, put the ball in, and Harry Kane inside the 6-yard box simply couldn't miss. And then was on the back foot pretty much for the remainder of the game, other than a couple of isolated chances maybe in the second half. Denmark scored a fantastic 25-yard goal in I think about the 35th minute or something like that, which was well deserved and well earned. But we're just going to be reacting from the comments of the players and the manager, so let's get to Kyle Walker first.
Well, it all started so well, but unlike Sunday, you didn't get the result. Can you explain that England performance?
I think it's tournament football. Listen, this is a good Denmark team, and we're top of the group. So let's try and take a positive from this game. And we're not lost. We've conceded, a great strike from outside the box. And sometimes you have to go goals. I thought the first goal, listen, we've done well and set off really well as we did the other day, but we managed not to see the game out. But we're top of the group, so let's move on to the next game.
You were getting forward as a team, and both yourself as well, so much early on. Why did that change?
I think it's just the game. It's the game. You're sensing the game, you're sensing their feeling. They probably had the upper hand in certain parts of the game, so you go off of that. As defenders, you try and think of what if, rather than me charging forward, they go and score, and then all of a sudden they're blaming us as defence that we're not in position. So listen, we've got enough up front to go and score goals, and we've got enough, as a team to go and defend. So listen, let's take it as a point, a well-deserved point, and we'll move on to the next game.
Is the manager telling you to drop back deeper once you do score?
No. Listen, the manager's expressed that he wants us to play free attacking football. Sometimes in tournament football you have to manage the game. It is what it is. That's why it's so hard to win tournaments. Just as like the Champions League, it's not a walkthrough. You don't turn up and just take 3 points. It's tough when you come to these grounds, hostile environments. But we know we can do better. But we're top of the group, so let's move on to that.
As an experienced head, you're the vice captain. What are you going to be saying to those players in the dressing room now?
Oh, they'll know. They'll know as individuals, as a team collectively. They'll know we've got another gear, but we haven't lost the game. So obviously everyone wants us to come and steamroll teams 3-4-0. It's not football. It's not football these days. And we've got a point. We'll move on, as I keep saying. We're top of the group, and we just keep going like that.
Thanks for your time, Carl. A goal for you, the first of the Euros, but a frustrating night for England overall. Do you share those frustrations?
Yeah, I think so. I think, look, we said before the tournament, there's no easy game in major tournament football, and I think that's showing. For sure, we've got levels that we can breach, and we can be better in both with the ball and without the ball. There's no question. But I think the sign of a good team is when you're not playing at your best and you still find a way to get results, like we have done in the last 2 games. So we're top of the group. We're all but qualified, which is what I said in the press conference before. That's the number 1 objective, and yeah, we know we can improve. So yeah, I know there'll probably be loads of noise and a bit of disappointment back home but we experienced this in the last Euros as well when we drew to Scotland. So it's just a time to stay calm, a time to reflect and try and improve for sure. But step by step, we'll get there.
You say no easy games, but are England making it a bit harder than it needs to be at the moment?
I think we're struggling, like I said, both with and without the ball. We'll have to go away and look at it back, but I think the pressure in both games just hasn't been quite right, and also with the ball, we haven't been good enough. That's the bottom line from top to bottom, from me all the way to Pix. Everyone's just dropping below their level a little bit in terms of retaining the ball, playing under pressure. I mean, it was tough out there with the heat, with the pitch. It wasn't easy, but yeah, look, we're calm. It wasn't our greatest game, but we got away with a draw, which is a good sign, and now we can hopefully build.
Is it on you or the manager that you are dropping deeper when you do score?
No, I think it's something that we've got to try and get better at. I don't think it's just when we score. I think we are starting games well, but then I just think in general maybe when the teams are dropping a few players deeper, we're not quite sure how to get the pressure on and who's the one supposed to be going. So in the second half, we tried to change it a little bit with me and Jude playing in front of their two midfielders and then trying to get up, but it was difficult. It was a difficult game. Credit to Denmark, they're a really good side. They obviously got to the semi-final in the last Euros, so they caused us some threats. But yeah, overall, we just we've got to look back and see where we can improve.
Thanks, Harry.
Cheers, thank you.
Well, Gareth, you got the point, but what did you make of the performance tonight?
Yeah, clearly not what we would have hoped. At the moment, we're not using the ball well enough, and we have to accept that if you do that, you're going to suffer at times as we have tonight. So we know there's another level that we've got to find.
In both games now, England have scored and then dropped deeper and not appeared to press as much. Is that what you're telling the team to do?
No. I think we've played teams that are quite fluid in back threes, and it's not easy to get pressure on them, but we've definitely got to do that better than we have done in these two matches. That's been part of the problem, but not keeping the ball has also been a big part of the problem.
Trent Alexander-Arnold started in midfield again, but he came off early in the second half. What does that tell us about how he's doing in that position in the middle?
Well, I wanted to get Connor on. We needed some energy. We needed to press better, and Connor obviously does that very well.
Do you feel like the positional change with Trent Alexander-Arnold is working?
Look, he's had some moments where he's delivered what we thought he would. We know it is an experiment, and we know that we don't have a natural replacement for a Calvin Phillips, but we're trying some different things, and at the moment we're not flowing as we'd like, that's for sure.
One touch in the opposition box for Harry Kane today. We saw him taken off, which isn't something we see often. Does it show that perhaps you're struggling to get this England attack to function as potentially they should, looking at the quality of player you've got?
Well, we needed energy. We've had two games in a short turnaround, and we needed fresh legs. We needed energy to press. And at that stage of the game, I think Harry's only had the 190 minutes in over a month. So that was the decision we took. Given
if you'd have won tonight, you would have qualified and been top already with a game to spare. How damaging is this, and how much work is there still to do if you are to win this?
No, of course, there's a huge amount of work. That's evident from the two performances that we've given, but we have to stay tight. We understand that people will be disappointed with the performances, and rightly so, and we've got to make them better.
Thanks, Gareth.
Okay, so there's a few things to unpack there. I think they were fairly honest interviews, other than Southgate's, to be honest. But if we look at the positives, I think what Walker and Kane were saying is absolutely true. We are still top of the group. We are still undefeated. And even though we didn't play well, we did still manage to get a draw. And like Kane said, we have been here in this position before when we drew against Scotland in the last Euros, and we ended up growing in confidence and developed into the tournament and wound up getting to the final. So we have got to take the positives. That being said, I think generally speaking, and the players alluded to this, we weren't playing well on or off the ball. No one knew when or how to press. Players weren't doing what they normally do for their clubs, like Foden, Saka, Declan Rice, constantly giving the ball away, putting the ball out of play. They just couldn't find each other. So there is plenty of negatives as well, and it'll be interesting to see if Southgate changes things in the third group game. I can't see why Trent would start the third game. I think it quite clearly isn't working, and he needs to consider putting somebody else in that position. Because whatever reason he was put there for, it just doesn't seem to be working out. And I don't necessarily think that's Trent Alexander-Arnold's fault. I just think it's not his natural position. They talked about Kane's fitness and the fact that he came off in the 70th minute. I think that was the right decision. I think, Watkins came on and brought in some new energy, and I think we need that energy to press going forward, and we need to be able to stretch teams. So I think that was the right decision. It'd be interesting to see if Kane starts the third group game or if he gives Watkins a shout. I think Watkins would be a good person to put up top to be able to play alongside Foden and Saka. I think them three all together will be able to press hard and smother teams, and I think it would be the right time to do it as well, just before we reach the round of 16, if we reach the round of 16. He mentioned that the players weren't pressing as instructed, and Walker mentioned that the manager wants them to play free attacking football. That just doesn't seem to be the case. So either they're getting that instruction and they're not following it, or they're not getting that instruction, or it hasn't been clear. So hopefully, leading up to the third game, Southgate pushes that instruction home to the players, and if somebody isn't following that instruction, they should simply just come off and be on the bench and put somebody on who's going to follow that instruction. But it'll be interesting to see how we play the third game. I think everyone at home will admit that it was a pretty frustrating game to watch. Denmark had our number almost every area of the pitch. They had plenty of opportunities to score. We just didn't create enough. Foden, I think, had a chance in the second half, and Watkins did as well towards the end, but it just wasn't enough. And it wouldn't have surprised me if Denmark hadn't gone and got a second. They were playing that well against us. But let's see how the third game goes, and hopefully we qualify for the round of 16. I hope you liked the video and enjoyed the interviews. Feel free to comment and like and subscribe if you're liking the content. Have a good day.